am getting ready to grill. So this is what I'm going to be making today, stuffed peppers. So colorful. As always, we want to make the colors of the rainbow. So as the Silver Chic chef, Elysabeth Alfano, I am here today to make something so American, stuffed peppers. You can grill them or you can just put them in the oven and bake them. And I do both of those. So a couple things about making stuffed peppers. I love Light Life. So this is Light Life Tempeh. Tempeh is fermented soybean. In this packet, there is 40 grams of protein, so but if you don't want to mess around with what I'm gonna do today, which is basically make my own ground meats, which are all seasoned, which is gonna taste like meat and be very hearty. If you don't wanna do that, don't mess with success and just go get Beyond Meat burgers. This is the Beyond Meat logo. This is their pig. This is Ethan Brown's pig. Wilbur, they named him Wilbur, and the American flag. So, of course, I'm a huge fan. So don't mess with success. If you don't want to do what I'm doing today, just run to the store, go get Beyond Meat, and get the party started. I also, again, I'm a huge fan of Light Life. I use Light Life Tempeh all the time, but Light Life also makes wonderful crumbles, and so does Gardein, and basically everybody does right about now. So okay. First, before we do anything, stuffed peppers, this is an Italian dish. So I'm going to be cutting, I'll show you here, I'm going to be cutting an onion. Cannot do much without onions, and why would you ever want to? So, and then of course I'm going to go straight into garlic. As I tell you guys all the time, it's the one corner I don't want to cut. Don't buy the packaged garlic just sitting around in water or whatever it's in. Just don't do it. I know it's extra time, you have to peel and everything, but just do it. Fresh garlic makes all the difference. Okay, I've been already chopping because I knew that you guys were coming to meet me. So I'm just gonna finish off my onions and put them in the frying pan right straight away. And then another thing that I'll start doing straight away is I'll start seasoning and salting. Because I also like to tell you guys, let's not salt at the end, because then you over salt. Just kind of salt as you go. So let me go over to my handy dandy stovetop, and I'm going to put in the garlic, which I have also diced, and the onions. Now, every once in a while I meet somebody who doesn't like garlic. I am so sorry for you. I don't know how you get through life, but I love garlic. So in my recipe, I've got a lot of garlic. I'm making 4 peppers today, and I've got 6 heads of garlic. 6 cloves of garlic. So if you don't, if garlic is not your thing, or you think you're going on a date and you're not sure you want to go that route, then okay, just cut back on the garlic. And I am also going to put in pretty quickly there my mushrooms. So mushrooms have umami flavor, and it's always going to bring out any kind of meat richness. So I'm always doing stuff with mushrooms. In fact, if you go to my website, ElysabethAlfano.com, you can see a bunch of my recipes, and they're always going to be including mushrooms. Now, today I have used canola oil just a little bit to get my pan all hot and ready, but if you are on a no oil diet, which I totally admire and respect, and sometimes I do it myself, you can do all this in mushroom broth. It's just going to take a lot longer, so I'm not doing it here, but you can simmer everything in mushroom broth and avoid those calories, etc., etc. Okay, just going to put this all right in. Ooh, mushrooms, onions. And I always tell you guys, I try to, sometimes I overdo it with the mushrooms, but I sort of feel like you can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with too many mushrooms. I'm just putting everything in all at once. I know usually you're supposed to wait a little bit for the onions to simmer. I'm just putting everything in because there's so much I want to tell you guys about the next steps. So this is one of those recipes where it looks like there's a lot going on, but really there isn't. Just gotta be ready with the spices, and meat is all about being ready with the spices. So even real meat, it's just spices. That's what makes it taste good, is the spices. So I've got this all going now, kind of on a medium-high heat. Okay, great. I love to cook. It relieves all the tension. It makes me feel great. I just love it. Okay, so you can kind of hear that crackling away. Maybe it's a tad bit too high. In fact, it is. Put it right down to a medium heat. I'm gonna let that do its thing. Tomatoes, I've got diced tomatoes. Of course you could use your own regular tomatoes, but I've got diced tomatoes. I'm gonna keep it easy on myself. I will put this in with some salt and pepper. Now this is kind of a smoky pepper, which I like. And, oh my word, where's my salt? Hold on, people. Regular old salt here. Salting as we go, like we said. Salt and pepper. This is smoky salt, sorry. I need pepper. Okay. Yes, 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 salt and pepper. Already it smells great. You know, it's that garlic. That's another reason you want garlic. Just smells great. Just love the smell of garlic. Okay, so I have a can of diced tomatoes, and so basically what I'm making is my own meaty, flavorful, spicy tomato sauce. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the Light Life. Now, if you were using Beyond Meat or Light Life crumbles or Gardein crumbles, you would just throw in the Beyond Meat. Okay. Now, a lot of what I do when I cook is I kind of feel things out as I go. Because you never really know, you know, sometimes you just gotta add as you go, and it's great to have a feeling for food. So of course I'm going to give you the recipe, and you're going to have this recipe on my website, ElysabethAlfano.com, and of course on JaneUnchained.com, but kind of try to feel what is good too. So follow the directions and then say like, oh, well, I really like my stuff garlicky, you add a little more. I really like my stuff meaty tasting, so then you'll add more mushrooms or something. So just kind of got to feel out the taste for you and your family as you go. Okay, stirring, stirring, stirring. So I'm just gonna let this really sit there, and I'm probably gonna add one more. Now, my next thing that I'm gonna add, I just wanna make sure that this is really, you know, tomatoes and peppers, how can you go wrong? So another thing you could do also, if you wanted to, is you could, you know, again, I'm going to do the Light Life tempeh, and I'm going to make my own meat from scratch. But if you're not doing Beyond Meat, you could always do Beyond Sausage or Light Life sausage. So sausage and peppers, that's always fun. So I guess what I'm trying to convey to you is, of course, follow the recipe, but you can make additions to this recipe very easily. Okay, now we've added things, which means we're going to add more salt and pepper. Yes, we are. Here goes the salt. And where's my pepper? Ah, here we go. More salt and pepper. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to let this hang out. Very good, very happy. Move some things to the side now. Now here's something I do just for the fun of it. Now this I'm really just doing for color. Obviously, we already have peppers. We're going to stuff them, so we don't really need more peppers. But, you know, I like to throw in color when I can, so I'm going to add green pepper. Of course, I've washed all my vegetables ahead of time, of course. So I'm adding some green pepper for the bite as much as I am really the color. So I like to do that. And again, when I'm done with this, you see, you can put this in the oven or just pull out tin foil and put each pepper in tin foil and put it on the grill. So that means when you're buying peppers, try to get peppers that stand on their own. That way you can, you know, stand them on the grill. If not, you can kind of lean them against each other, just quickly dicing here. You can lean them against each other and they'll stand up, and probably about 20, 25 minutes is what I do in the oven on 350. But you guys can also, like I say, whoa, I try to clean as I go. That's another thing I try to do. You guys, as I say, can do this in the oven or the grill. Okay. So more than anything, this recipe just requires chopping. And chopping is a little bit time consuming, but not so bad. Not so bad, and also that's really where I think all the joy comes in. I think it's just so relaxing. So let's just see how we're doing here. Really need a spoon at this point. It's gotten to be so soupy. Okay, so My diced tomatoes had a lot of juice in them, and I probably could do without so much of that juice. So I'm gonna let that really siphon off. Now I've got some mint here that came from my garden. Some nice lovely mint, you see that? Nice lovely mint. So I'm gonna put that in at the very, very end. Okay, so the very toughest thing about this recipe might be opening the Life Light container. So this it's double plasticed. So I had to do it with scissors, and sometimes I did it ahead of time because sometimes it takes me like 5 minutes to get through the package. So just have a handy dandy pair of scissors. I find scissors in the kitchen super, super helpful. So again, if you wanted to use mushroom broth, you could, to avoid canola oil, which is what I'm doing here. A little bit to get that going. I am going to now break up my tempeh, which is just fermented soy, like I said. And I'm gonna get ready to spice up all this meat. That's really what I'm doing. The meat, the tempeh meat, the soy meat. So right here, as I tear this apart, this is 40 grams protein. Oh yes, it is. 40 grams protein. So I don't want to hear from anybody like, oh, what do vegans eat? Because where do they get their protein? It's just ridiculous. By the way, have you ever seen anybody who's been protein deficient? I've never met a protein deficient person in my life. So I don't think it's really an issue that we're working on right now. But okay, whatever. So while I'm doing this, I am eyeing all my spices, because that's really what this recipe is going to be all about. I'll give you a little hint of what's coming. So I've got oregano and basil, of course. This is, after all, an Italian recipe. So here's the trick to making things taste like meat. It's all in the spices: cumin, paprika, and a little bit of soy. Oh yeah, that's it. So I've got basil and oregano, cumin, paprika, a little bit of soy. I like my stuff spicy, so I'm putting in some cayenne pepper. Now, if that's not for you, just don't put it in. It's just like with the garlic. If you don't want to go overboard with the garlic, then don't do it. I respect you. You don't have to. So don't feel that you have to follow everything to a T. Really kind of adjust it to your own taste. But I always throw in a little bit of soy sauce. Again, you know, getting some umami flavor in there. And then here's another trick. A little bit of mint from my garden. A little bit of fennel seed. Fennel seed just goes really nicely to add a little bit of extra. It's not that fennel seed is going to make anything taste like meat. It's just that fennel seed has a nice afterbite. And do not grind the seed. You want the whole seed, because then it'll be very bitter. Ooh, you see, I don't know if you can see that in back. See, it's just bubbling up, so that's great. So I'm getting rid of some of my extra tomato broth. So I'm not going to rescue that. I'm going to let that keep going. Great to be right by my sink here. And also great to always have one of these handy everywhere. So I think I'm all good here. Everything's nice and crumbled. Now I've got these great little spoons. They're like little baby spoons. So I can go in and get my cayenne pepper. Again, I kind of feel this because I cook a lot, but I will have all of these measurements for you on ElysabethAlfano.com. Cumin. Now this you do have to grind. You wouldn't want the whole cumin seed. Of course, cumin you want to grind, but gotta watch out. Gotta not overdo it on the cumin because it can get bitter. So these are all teaspoons that I'm putting in right now. And sometimes what I do is I put in my stuff and then okay, fine. I'll come get you. I put in my stuff and I cook it and then I kind of taste it. And I kind of taste it from there. Because sometimes you need more, you know? Sometimes you just want more paprika in your life. What can I say? Okay. I hope you guys have great plans for this summer. I hope you're doing lots of barbecue this summer. I've already thrown a couple barbecue parties. Oh, this is a fun spice. Dehydrated vegetables, onions, black pepper, oregano, thyme, herbs, citric acid, cumin, mustard seed, garlic, lemon, orange peels. So this spice is called Mr. Spice House. And hey, I got it at the Spice House in Chicago. So I'm just generous with this stuff. Again, it's just like a meat seasoning. I mean, you can go ahead and ask A1 Steak Sauce what makes steak great. It's the sauce. It's not the steak. Yeah, so we got that here. Look at, I love this Mexican oregano. I know it's an Italian recipe. I know, but I'm just saying. Life with spices is a great life. I think I put everything in. Yes, I got that paprika. Cannot miss the paprika. And here I've got some basil. At the very end, before I pop everything in the oven or on the grill, I'm going to dice up my fresh mint. But for now, I've added all of those things. And, here's my fresh mint. Had nervous there. Where's my mint? Okay, a little bit of soy sauce. Again, I want this to really be flavored. Moving this over. There we go. Okay, now both of these are going to take their time. You know, it's something that I want to talk to you guys about as I work this out. Were you able to see this up close and personal? I just want to make sure you got that. So here I've added my spices and yeah, just again, if you don't feel like doing this step, there's this great thing called Beyond Meat. Go out and get it and call it a day. So I like to cook myself, but you do not have to do this. Just go out and get Gardein, Light Life, Beyond Meat crumbles. It's all there. And then of course you add the crumbles to our sauce and you stuff the peppers. How easy could it be? So I'm just cooking this up. Of course it's gonna cook in the oven. More than anything, I'm just making sure that the spices spread around. Okay. So we're not really cooking things here as much as we're just evening out the spices. So I want to talk to you guys about something while I do this. So I do a lot of radio interviews and a lot of TV. And every once in a while I'll be on the radio in Los Angeles or Chicago or wherever, and I'll get a question from a listener, or I'll get even maybe an agricultural reporter or somebody saying, hey, this isn't very American. It's not our tradition to not have meat. And I'm really tired of that question. So, let that go. I'm going to talk to you over here. I'm really tired of that question. So this is what I say to that. America is a country of innovators. We're a country of problem solvers. We have an enormous problem on our hand. It's called climate change. There's also a worldwide problem of famine. And then we have a very distinct American problem of 90% of Americans are not heart healthy. And I get that directly from an interview, a direct quote that I did with Dr. Kim Williams, the past president of the American College of Cardiology and the current chief head of the cardiology department at Rush Memorial Hospital in Chicago. He said 97% of Americans are not heart healthy. These people get to be 65 years old, and how is the government going to handle Medicaid at that time? So to quote him, it is your American duty to go vegan because we are bankrupting our healthcare system. And it's just not going to be physically possible to take care of all of these people. So, like I was saying before, Americans are problem solvers. We've got some big problems on our hands. We're also innovators. We're also capitalists. We're also business people. We're creative thinkers. So, it's the most American thing possible that Americans would be out in front, leading the way towards innovation to changing the world for better. That's an American thing. So when someone comes to me with tradition or, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like we never did that before, so why would we do it now? We do it now because we're innovating for change for the future. Because without doing that, we have no future for our planet and for our children. So if anybody comes to you with, oh, tradition and, oh, you know, it's American to eat meat. No, it's American to innovate and be out in front. And that's what Beyond Meat's doing. That's what other companies are doing, like Impossible Foods. And these guys are getting all the press, but it's not just them. There have been many innovators around for a long time. You're seeing the plant-based milks take over 15% of the market. You tell me that's not innovation for better health. Okay, that is my happy holidays talk for today. And I think I'm just gonna let these guys do their thing. It's about time that I add my mint. So now that I've spread the spices everywhere, it's about time that I go ahead and add just a little bit of mint. Oh, I know what I have to do. I have to core the peppers. So let me give one more stir before I put my attention elsewhere. Okay, everybody here is doing very well. Now I might find that I taste that later and I add a little bit more soy, but okay. So here we go. Try to keep your pepper top intact so that you can have a little hat for your pepper. Now I try to make it wide so that I can get in there with a spoon. So when you cut your pepper, go ahead and make it wide, otherwise you won't be able to get anything in there. So, but you also want to keep the integrity, wow, the integrity of the pepper to the extent that you can. So take out my, woo, okay, so I'm gonna fill that with my stuffing. This is awesome. Get rid of that, put it in the compactor. Okay, so one pepper and his little hat. Okay. Now I've got another pepper, and then we're gonna put the mint in and stuff these and go join the party. Go join the barbecue. Grab your drink and move on. So these just cook themselves in the oven, like I said, give or take about 25 minutes. And if you're on the grill, who knows what the grill heat is? I find it's very hard to keep the grill temperature really solid and consistent, but I leave that to other people. I'm not really a griller, but okay. Whoever is managing the grill, they can let you know. So if you tell them, hey, I really want these to hang out in the grill at about 350, they'll know where to place them on the grill. There's always one person mastering the grill. So they'll know where to place these guys on the grill so that you can keep, not overdo it. But again, it's hard to overdo this. If you went to the party and had a great time and you forgot and you came back 5 minutes later, it's not a big deal. That's why I love these kind of recipes. You put a bunch of things together and then you just go have a good time. Meanwhile, without a lot of work, this is gonna feed a lot of people because I'm making 4 peppers today, but I'm gonna obviously have meat sauce for much more than 4. Okay. Everybody's got a little hat now. Okay, that's the wrong thing, see? Did I make it through kindergarten? Barely. Okay, I'll have to work out my hats and my peppers later. Okay, now I'm gonna dice up a little bit of that mint. Not very much, but just enough to kind of give it a little something, something. Aren't we always after a little something, something? Isn't that true? I think that's true. Okay, as I say, not very much. Just enough. Oh gosh, when you crush up that mint, you can smell it. I can smell it from here. Oh my word, can you see? Oh my gosh. Okay. Woo, that mint is really giving me something. Okay, so just light on the mint, shall we? Okay. Oh, we're doing great. We're doing great. So now, obviously, I have more of my sauce than I do of my meat. So I'm going to bring them together. I have to say, I do love my kitchen because I really do kind of have everything. It's a great, wonderful kitchen. Okay, I'm going to add some of this over to this. Ooh. This is also giving me the opportunity to get rid of a little bit of that juice. I didn't realize that can of tomatoes had so much juice. So I've got a perforated spoon here, and now I can withhold some of the juice by letting it drip out. Okay. We're getting close. We're getting close. Whoops. Okay, now I'm bringing this together. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, I gotta say, I can't really say I'm rivaling Beyond Meat, but this is good. This is good. Also, if you like tempeh, it's got a really hearty nut taste that I love. So, the Beyond Meats of the world, the truth is, it's not made for me because, where's my spoon? I'm not a meat eater. I don't miss it. I don't want it. So I'm so glad that it's around, and I bought stock for sure. But it's not really meant for me. It's for the person whose doctor is saying, please do me a favor, switch to Beyond Meat because your cholesterol's through the roof. So that's the person who needs Beyond Meat, which is, as we've already discussed, 97% of Americans are not heart healthy. So smart business move to go after 90% of the market, but I'm not really one of those. So I kind of like to make my own tempeh. Okay, now again, we've reached the point where you add more salt and pepper because you guys know, we season as we go. And also, we're going to start spooning things in. So if you wanted to just taste yourself right about now to see if you need a little bit more soy or you want a little bit more of this or that, this is probably a good time to do it. Again, I've got salt and pepper, and I'm going to add a little bit more soy. I just feel like soy and mushrooms, it's always going to help me out. Not a bad idea. Because I was able to drain off some of that tomato sauce, I can add in a little bit more soy sauce. Okay. Which is something you guys have all the time. You go to Chinese restaurants, you have it. You go out for sushi, you have it. So some great vegan sushi restaurants popping up all over the place. So it's a very exciting time, I think, for vegan sushi. But oh my word, come on. And you got to see this. Now these are heavy pans, so I have to lift it with 2 hands. But look at that. Oh my word. I'm just going to stuff that right in the pepper and then go have a good time. It's going to be very easy. Okay, just kind of mixing this all up and around, and then I'll turn that off. Okay. Now is the time where I taste to see what's going on, see if we're good. It's going to be super hot. Hold on. I have my little baby spoon there. But these baby spoons, I keep them around because they're really great for measuring out spices because the spoon head can actually get in that little bottle. So it's great to get into something like this. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm a great cook. I can't help it. It's super good. Now, I make mine spicy. It's just how I like it. If you don't want a kick to yours, don't add all the cayenne pepper like I did. But I do want a kick to mine, so I did that. Okay. This is super hot now, of course. I'll bring it over here. Just throwing in a little bit of that mint. Not much, spreading it around. Okay. Oh, yes. And now I just have to spoon. I'll do my best to be neat about it. Sometimes I'm not so neat when this happens, but I'm trying my best. I'm gonna put the oven on 350, but again, you could easily, okay, preheating to 350. You could easily wrap this in tin foil, spoon it up like I'm gonna do now. See why you want a wide mouth. It's hard to get it in there. Spoon it up like I'm doing now, and stand it in the top shelf of the grill. Whoa. Yes, now pack it in there. Try to keep it. Like I said, I'm not always neat about it, but okay, I try. Go like this, wipe off my pepper. Okay, now find the right top. I think this is the right top. Hold on, is it this one? Okay, yes, I got the right top. 1 pepper down. And then keep them standing up. Now I was lucky when you get a nice wide pepper like this, it's easy to get in and it stands on its own. So if you can pick out the wide peppers, that's always great. Okay, doing up a storm here. This is one of my very favorite recipes, and I will say, it's my own. So my boyfriend's always saying to me, well, why don't you just why don't you just go to Google and find a recipe? And I don't like to do that. I like to come up with my own recipes. It's very cathartic for me. It makes me feel great to be creative in the kitchen and to have my hands filled with lots of yummy foods. And it makes me feel very, I don't know if empowered is the right word, but very, I don't want to do somebody else's recipe. I want to do my own, and I want to come up with something new, and that's very fun. So here I am, I'm patting down. I think this matches, doesn't it? Yes, I think this is the one. Okay. A little bit unsure. Hold on, maybe it's, yeah. Kindergarten was not my forte, sorry. Okay, I'm going with this one. Just calling it what it is. I'm going with that one. Okay, same thing here. Got it kind of messy. Wipe off my... So this is great. The juices from the peppers are going to infuse what is already a very delicious and tasty sauce. Meat filling. I call it meat filling, even though, of course, I've done mine with tempeh today. But you can do yours with Gardein and make sure I don't lose all that mint. You can do yours with Gardein, or you can do yours with Beyond Meat, which everybody loves, and Light Life. I have to say, Light Life might even be my favorite grounds. I just feel that it's a little lighter, and since I'm not really a meat eater, I mean, if you're serving meat people, don't mess around, folks. You go get that Beyond Meat. So, you know, this version of the recipe is for people who want to stay healthy, you know, very little oil. You saw what I did, and we even talked about you could do it with mushroom broth. So this tempeh version is really the healthiest version you're going to have. And I feel like the next stepping stone in that is to use Light Life. But again, if you're serving meat people, do not mess around. You do this same sauce with onions and mushrooms and garlic and canned of diced tomatoes and salt and pepper and oregano and everything, and a little bit of green pepper just because, oh hey, that's fun, and then Beyond Meat. Don't even mess around with tempeh or spices or trying to get the paprika cumin mix to be right. Don't do that. Just go with Beyond Meat. But I happen to like this, and so does my boyfriend. We really feel like this is a lighter version, and it's just as hearty, and we both love the taste of tempeh, which has so much protein, and it's very nutty and very filling. Okay, one more pepper to go, and then it's going to be the end of our party together, and I'm going to my next party. So it's summer, lots of barbecues to be had, and I have to bring the plant-based stuff wherever I go. And I love to cook for other people, so I'm not just cooking for me, I'm cooking for anybody at the barbecue who wants to try plant-based recipes. And I hope you guys do the same. I hope you'll take my recipes to your barbecue and you'll kind of spread the word, because I think people still don't know, believe it or not, they just don't know how great it can be, how healthy it can be, how tasty. Thank you, paprika. Thank you, cumin. How tasty it can be. Oh, thank you, cayenne pepper, by the way. And soy sauce and salt and pepper. Come on, people. You just don't need anything else. But okay, and then you're going to infuse this with all the juice from the red peppers. You're going to be full and happy and healthy. Yes, yes, and more yes. Wow, how about that? Did I plan this perfectly, that just the right amount is going to make it? I might have a little extra for me to just taste on my own, but look at that. Okay, perfect recipe. Fits nicely into 4 peppers, and I'm gonna say these are 4 kind of large peppers. You gotta kind of make that distinction yourself, but okay. We added our mint, as you saw at the last minute. I cleaned this off. I only have 1 pepper hat, so I can't figure out which hat goes with this pepper now. Okay, so I'm down to the very end. It's all clean, it's all beautiful. Pepper hat here, and there you have it. Now I'm going to put this in the oven at 350, and I'm going to let it go for 25 minutes, and then I'm going to check on it, and usually that's good, 25 minutes, and then I let it set and sit for about 5, and you're ready to go. So here are the peppers. I'm throwing them in, but basically our recipe today is over. If you do want to do these on the grill, no problem. Just take one of the peppers, put it in tin foil, and wrap up the whole thing, including the hat. Wrap up the whole thing. That way, if it does fall over in the grill, you've got it all together. Wrap up the whole thing in tin foil and put it on the top shelf of the grill. So this is going in my oven right now. Healthy stuffed peppers that you can make with no oil if you want, and you can make healthy yourself with some tempeh, or you can just pull in the Beyond Meat and do that. It's all up to you. Stuffed peppers, it's going to be on my website, ElysabethAlfano.com. You saw it's pretty easy. throw in a bunch of spices, chop up some vegetables, throw in some tempeh, boom, you've got stuffed peppers. I hope you take it to one of your barbecues this summer and have a great summer.